and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign
Okay,
up for
good
the
morning.
newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves.
I've been setting stuff up, so good morning. I gotta set up this. 7 thumbs up, 19 people in here. It's all bots. If you're not a bot, say you're not a bot. Okay, so just to explain to everybody, I now have Trendspider emailing me every morning the scans, so I'm not going to need to do the scans anymore. Okay. And we're going to do a little bonus for the paid newsletter subscribers. So I'm going to take that down. We're going to say paid subs. Okay. First, I'm going to leave you with GameStop is going to be my last story. And it's crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. Let's see. We are going to look at earnings for Supermicro, including, and I thought this was interesting, a quote about what I actually think is the right thing. Coca-Cola killed it. Shopify absolutely killed it. But the future guidance wasn't great. I mean, Shopify, it went down to 106 and it's at 116 right now, which is a big move down and then back up. We'll look at that. James Ford, BBAI. Is this one a meme or what? We are going to use some FinViz scanners to find top gainers. And again, you can find these things and they're in there. We are going to use Seeking Alpha as an example as well. You know, what's the difference? We got more tariffs announced today. And hey, there's ways to make money on tariffs because yesterday Cleveland Cliffs was up. Interesting look at some diverging stocks. David Tepper doubles down on China again. He released everything. And the Weinstein analysis, it's another one. See, on the weekly chart. I mean, that's just a nice one. Trendspider emailed me and this is a scanner that you can import. You know, this is when markets pull back, our correction deniers scan. You can import it into your taking out your Trendspider system. Steve Kress looks at quantum stocks. Are they worthwhile? I'm going to read a quote about right now what we have coming up this week. There were a couple things yesterday. It comes around in April that we're coming up on 5 years of the podcast. And yesterday was an absolutely wild ride yesterday. It was nuts. So we're going to start out with that one. 100% a bot. ALAB is one. I mean, here's the thing about ALAB. It's still an IPO in my mind. I mean, still an IPO. Look, you don't have any moving averages. I mean, you've got a 9 and a 21. You don't have a 50-day. So it's still, to me, a new one. Now, the algorithm makes you 125% versus 95%. It's 9 positions over the last 10 months. It's still a new stock. I mean, there's nothing that I can tell you. This one will tell you everything. The earnings call insight and the they don't cover it in the quant. So there's nothing that I can tell you about ALAB because I don't know it. It's an AI stock, so I mean, Wall Street, let's see, there are 14 analysts that cover it. They think it's a $120 stock. Right now it's trading at 99. So I don't particularly, for me, it's not within my, okay, I'm going to go out and buy this one. So that's the way I look at it. Jacob, it's very simple. I mean, it's super, super easy in that realm, and you can go and look at it. But for me, a 10-month-old stock is nothing that, yeah, probably. I mean, that fits in the wheelhouse. I think one of Shai's rule is not to buy an IPO within the first 12 months, if I remember correctly. He had one of those rules, but he wishes he would have gotten into that one. But remember, here's the difference, Jacob. I'm 54. Shai is all of 20-something. I mean, when you're asking, what do you think about that one? There's a huge, huge difference between a 54-year-old and a 20-something-year-old. That's why you have to follow a bunch of people to get your own, create your own thing around it. So I think they, if I remember correctly, I think they do love it, but I don't know enough about it to actually go over it. And again, it's a 10-month-old stock. So from a technical standpoint, I would absolutely use the 4-hour algorithm. So if I were interested in that one, I would absolutely 100% use the 4-hour algorithm. Yeah, we'll go over that. Okay, I'm going to hit start and record because I am going to be done by the time the market opens, to be honest with you. I'm not staying on until 10. I am sticking to my 5-day a week rule, and so I'm working on different things. I had a lot for the paid members yesterday. So here we go. Good morning. It is Tuesday, February 11th. I got a lot today. So let me just set this up for you. We're gonna go over quantum stocks with Steve Kress. He goes over, and I'm gonna read you a quote that I really liked from him. We're going to go over, for years. Again, the number one complaint that I get from people is that I sell them stuff. Well, 5 years ago, I started this podcast. It will be April 20th. Will be 5 years. Okay. I did not pay for tools before 2020. So Trendspider got in 2020. Seeking Alpha got in 2020. I did not pay for tools before 2020. I think I tried some out. Never liked them. So I'm going to give you, okay, these are the tools that I used instead of these paid tools. And we're going to go over the difference and what the benefits are of the paid tools and why I like them versus the free tools. You will learn something in this podcast no matter who you are or what you do, because there are a lot of things that I will tell you that I've learned in the difference between the paid tools and the other tools. We will go over David Tepper, still big in China. We will go over yesterday in the core portfolio several. One of the biggest winners was Cleveland Cliffs. Why? Tariffs. Tariffs aren't always bad for stocks. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the core portfolio movers yesterday, Dell, Palantir, and Uber. We will look at free versus paid tools. Like I said, I will bring some things up. The top gainers in the S&P will use one of the free tools to try and look at some scanners. We will look at the paid tools, just how easy it is to use them with either stocks and ETFs. We'll look at earnings yesterday and how one earnings player, what earnings are telling us, and how one earnings player may come to a Thursday. Might be a really good one to get. We'll go over Shopify and Coke. Both of them killed it on earnings. We've got SMCI, Dash, Lyft, Upstart tonight on earnings. We'll go over the earnings calendar, a free tool versus a paid tool. We'll look at, and for the paid members, this is interesting. We'll look at an AI stock specializing in machine learning from robotic systems that Palantir invested in with a 25% upside from its January 2025 target. Okay, January 2025 was the first analyst that said, hey, this is what the stock is worth, 25% upside. The stock was trading for $2 in December. Okay, it's over $10 today. So just so you know, we'll look at that for the paid members. I will leave you with a little bit of good stuff, but the paid members are going to get some benefits. And yes, I did some paid stuff yesterday. So if you are a paid member, go over to your the newsletter. You can see it in the chat. You can see I do a lot in the chat there for the paid members. So if you are one of the paid members, just go over there, interact with me. DMs are wide open. Yesterday, the morning, we were up 0.45. Afternoon, you were down 0.82. We opened yesterday at 527. We closed at 529. You're right now, you're at 526. Again, it's at 841. We've got a lot of things happening today. I don't expect big moves today. I just don't. But sometimes you can get things like tariffs and you can get a news conference that's going to move it. Those are the things that you have to assume. Now, what I wanted to show you is a weekly chart. Okay, the MACD still straight across. The MACD is still crossing down on the strike line. The RSI is at 61. We are close to all-time highs. What's the all-time high on QQQ? 539. 539. Go over to Seeking Alpha, type in QQQ, and you'll see the 52-week range, 413 to 539. Weekly, it may seem like, God, we haven't had a great day in forever. That 539 was to hit December 16th. You're at February 11th. That's 2 months where you just kind of traded sideways. It wasn't this big down move like in July to August, or, this move from July to October of the year before. It wasn't March of last year where we traded sideways and then you went down. I would expect a move down. Doesn't mean I didn't buy some VOO yesterday. Doesn't mean I didn't buy QQQ. Doesn't mean I didn't buy some IBIT yesterday. There's a lot that I was doing yesterday. But yesterday was a complete shit show. This is a shot of me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you remember, I had my free Starbucks coffee. I crashed. Little Penny was on top of me. Daisy was on top of me. I crashed. It was a shit show from yesterday. I am not allowed to have caffeine ever again. That's my lesson from yesterday. And I posted this in the Facebook group. If you want to get to the Facebook group, everything is on Linktree, by the way. It is all on Linktree. Okay, the Facebook group is right up here in the center. If you want to join us in the Facebook group, I post a lot of stuff in the Facebook group. I mainly use Substack for a lot of things, but I respond to everybody in that Facebook group. There is no paywall. There is nothing. I treat free. I want to make sure that I interact with all of the listeners. So I do a lot. I looked at it yesterday. My first episode, episode 1, was 4/4/2020. Okay, so we're coming up on that. That's going to be 5 years of me doing the podcast. 5 years. That's a lot. Tons of shows. Close to millions of listens from the listeners. So it again, my pleasure to be here. I think that first episode got 2 listens. 2 listens. It was 7 minutes and 31 seconds. I wouldn't even suggest you go back and listen to it. It's a shit show. Again, talking about shit shows from yesterday. Overall, markets are strong with Trump during new tariffs. Jay Powell testifies Today, we get a CPI data tomorrow, which is inflation. We get a PPI, producer price index, on Thursday, which means we have some market moving data and some speak potentially to come. I would expect, I was on Spaces yesterday with a Bloomberg reporter, I think she is, but she's in the room with Powell when he does press conferences. She doesn't expect too much today. She expects some talk from Democrats and Republican about political shit, but nothing big. And this is a great quote. Right now, especially with CPI numbers on Wednesday and PPI on Thursday, expected to show year-on-year declines in both the headline and the core readings, that would end up providing a support underneath the market and allow it to continue to creep higher. Aside from economic reports, traders are also watching Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who will speak to Congress. Okay? I think we've got a floor. If you want to know where the floor is, I think it's 510 on QQQ. And VOO, same kind of thing. I point this out. Look at that range. I mean, that's a 6% range that you see all the way back to November 4th, 2024. And we're just in that range. Do you want to buy at the top? Just depends on your time horizon. If I were buying for the next month or two, I would not be buying up here. If I'm buying for the next 5 years, I'm absolutely buying up here. That's why I bought yesterday. I bought a ton yesterday. And I did a ton of moves. And, we'll go over it too. I did a specific one. And we'll go over exactly what I did. I used Trendspider to set an alert so that I don't have to stare at charts all day. Now, Steve Kress, he's looking at quantum stocks. Quantum computing is a disruptive innovation that has attracted billions of dollars to the industry and positions for its potential long-term growth. Full disclosure, my entire quantum stake is in Google. That's the one that I want. I've got NVIDIA as well. But I like this particular quote. It's at the end. As Seeking Alpha's quant system offers a back-tested, data-driven strategy designed to remove emotion from the investment process and map out a stock's earnings history, underlying fundamentals, and growth potential so you can make the best decision for your portfolio and individual investment goals. We have dozens of other companies ready to rally, including some of our top small caps. He gives a link to that. Alternatively, if you're seeing a limited number of monthly ideas curated from a list of top stocks, consider exploring Alpha Picks. That's Steve Kress. He goes over, that's a quote from this article. Okay, that's a quote from this article. Now, to read this article, you need both the Seeking Alpha Premium, and then he suggested Alpha Picks. Well, here's your benefit, okay? When you go to my my link tree right here, and you click on the Alpha Picks one, you get a couple of choices. You can click on the Alpha Picks one, which basically you can get Alpha Picks. You can get the bundle for the price of Alpha Picks, which is $4.49. You get Seeking Alpha Premium free for 60 days. If you want both, okay, that's saving you $50. But then you have to subscribe to Seeking Alpha Premium. It's going to cost you more. If you want both, and I do suggest both, this is the Gary bundle. We're talking about paid tools. I will give you free tools later in the show, but the paid tools, go to that second link, and it's the bundle, and you save $159 versus just saving $50 and getting 60 days free and then paying more. So the Alpha Picks portfolio, it is a phenomenal portfolio. Look at the performance, 177% versus 58%. I was just going over it with my girlfriend. I think 6 months, you're about even. But year to date, you're blowing away the S&P. And you're only a month in. So I like it. But again, this article, well worth reading. And Trendspider. Then you've got another paid tool, Trendspider. When markets pull back, our correction denier scan cuts through the noise. Here's a couple of them. Fortinet, Uber, Axion, Netflix. Okay. You can get this it's a relative performance dashboard. So you get basically from Trendspider just a dashboard. And Trendspider, here's the thing. They have free, you can try this out for 14 days for $20. $20. Use my link, okay? if you wind up signing up for a yearly plan, I will give you my 4-hour algorithm. I give you my 65-minute algorithm. I will give you all my custom watch lists. I will give you everything. Everything. Okay? Trendspider plans are based on, what you get. So standard, it comes with just, the normal stuff. You get enough to do it if that's within your budget. Premium, which is the most popular, and I will confirm that's the one that I had. And you get 2 trainings per year. Okay? Standard, you get 1 training per year. Enhanced is the best one. You get 3 trainings per year, and you get a significant amount more. You get priority support, which means that when you go in and you basically ask them a question, you can ask them, what does MACD mean? They'll send you links. You can ask them, hey, I created this strategy, but I can't get it to work. Can you help me? Yeah, they'll help you. So I love Trendspider, and this is just one of them. When you use the dashboard, you basically go in there. I get all of my scans emailed to me. Okay, emailed to me every morning. It is fantastic. Again, it saves me time. So I got an email from Trendspider yesterday, and this is part of the problem. They're an agile software, so they make updates almost nightly to their software program, and it just continues to get better. So on Wednesday, before the market opened, they'll release an update to how the strategy tester works. The strategy tester is the house of all of the algorithms, okay? You want to do my 4-hour algorithm? It's here. It runs on, we can run it on VOO. See the entry right there at 544. You're still in. You're still in the 4-hour algorithm. We can go and test it on QQQ. QQQ, right here, you get 525. QQQ makes you 52% over 24 months, 20 positions. Not even 1 per month. You win 55% of the time. Your average win is 6%. Your average win is 6%. I use this to find an entry. I take emotion. We talked about it with Steve Kress, talking about the quant taking emotions out. There is no emotion in a chart. None. The emotion comes when you decide to buy and sell. When this tells you to buy, just go ahead and buy. That's what I do. And I use QQQ to buy and hold, but I use those entries. You know why? Because when I look at a long-term chart of QQQ, I like it. It's in an upward trend. And so Rusan is telling me, on before the market open, they'll release an update to the strategy tester that works with raindrop and Heiken Ashi candles. They noticed that I personally have tested strategies from chart with using those candle types. Raindrop candles are awesome. Heiken Ashi are awesome. Once they release this update, backtest results for these strategies will materially change. And they updated me how they changed. They updated me how it's formulating this performance chart. Now, these are just bars. These are just candles. I'm sorry, it's candles. You can see hollow candles, raindrop, Heiken Ashi. You have all of these choices. Again, the difference between a paid tool and a free tool, you probably don't have those. Raindrop candles are awesome. Go and Google Trendspider raindrop candles. They are awesome. I couldn't use them for backtesting. I probably will now. And Rusan told me how it's going to be calculated so I can go in and look. Hey, this algorithm, it doesn't work because it does it on raindrop. But I changed to candles and it does work. Now I know why. So I love that. And we talked about the Weinstein, the Weinstein and how the stages, and you can see right there. If you want to click on that, you can do that. Well, look at this chart of C Limited, which is on a weekly chart. We always talk about a weekly. Okay, I don't have this on this desktop right now, so I can't show you the Weinstein stuff. I do have it on a separate workspace, but I am not going to do that. And that's part of what you get with the premium and the advanced is you get more workspaces. So I'm able to use the Weinstein on other workspaces. But take a look at this weekly chart. Again, if it's telling us that it's sitting in there and it's green because it's accumulating and it's growing and it's in stage 2, well, look at this. I can tell you from just looking at this chart, the MACD, 9 points over the oscillator. It gets all the way up to 23 when it gets up there. This is a Chinese stock. There was a guy who traded this one for years, and he thought it was a shipping stock. It's a software stock. It's a software stock. It's overbought at 75, and you're seeing it just passed the 200-day. Your 50 days moving positive. You're trading over the 9-day. This is a weekly candle. That might be worth it to go and look at. Let's go and look at C Limited in Seeking Alpha. It's a hold. Seeking Alpha analysts say it's a strong buy. Wall Street has a price target of 128. It's trading at 123. Okay? Maybe it's probably, it could be a good one that fits your risk tolerance. Valuation, F, not great. Very expensive. Super expensive. Growth, great. Profitability, great. Momentum, look at that. 33% in 3 months. 93% in 6 months. Because it bottomed out. And it's not at its all-time high. Its all-time high is around 360. You're trading at 125. Now, maybe you want to use the strategy of the 4-hour algorithm. Because the 4-hour algorithm, look at the performance down there. Over 24 months, you make 136%. If you bought and held, you're up 90%, 89.9. Positions over 24 months, 22. Your average win, 19%. It got you in at 109. You're trading at 125. They have earnings coming up later in the month. Again, we're going to talk about David Tepper. Because David Tepper, let me go back here and close that. David Tepper, he added more BABA. He's all in on China. ASML, NVIDIA, AMD, and VST. This guy came on air and told you, I'm doubling down on China. Now he's released it. He absolutely did. He added 18%. Look at Vistra. He added 112%. Okay. Look at NRG. He added 81%. Look at ASML. He added 106%. Lam Research, 25%. He added all of that. Look at it. His biggest holdings is BABA. It's 15% of his portfolio. If you look at these big hedge funds, they don't have 60% of their portfolio in Apple like I do. Find your comfort zone. My comfort zone is holding Apple like my savings account. That's it. But he tells you exactly what it's buying, and they tell you afterwards. They don't tell you during, because what would the hell would the point be? Kathy Woods tells you what she's buying after every day. So I think it's interesting. Another interesting one is here from Oliver. Stocks with growing revenue and growing margins, but declining stock prices. China, PDD. Pagaya Technologies, AMD, which I think is a shit show. But is it? Maybe it's a good one. Stocks with declining revenue and declining margins, but increasing stock price. Walmart, Delta, MicroStrategy, the winners. Take from this what you will. Again, it's interesting. And we can look at the core portfolio. You know what the biggest winner yesterday in the core portfolio was? It was Cleveland Cliffs. And then we get new tariffs today. U.S. copper prices premium versus LME surges to new record, as Trump said he would impose a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum. And you know what the big winner was yesterday? It was Cleveland Cliffs, and it's up again today. It's up 4%. Well, did it bottom out? Let's take a look at a weekly here. We now have a positive moving 9-day. We're just above the 21-day. The 50-day still moving negative. The 200 days just started moving negative. Your MACD, 1 point below the oscillator. Your RSI is now at 49. It got all the way down to 32, 30, 31. We've just been in a declining space here with Cleveland Cliffs. Now that the tariffs come on, it was up 17% yesterday. Okay? 17%. The other ones that were up big yesterday, Dell was up 6%. It's down 2% in pre-market. Look at that afternoon candle, 4.8%. And you're below the oscillator. Now, what does this look like on a weekly? It needed to reset. Remember, I was back here in June and July saying that MACD needs to come down. It could go up, but it needs to come down. It came down. Then we saw the price rise. We saw it go from a bottom of 86 all the way to a top of 147. And then what happened? It wanted to go back. And just last week, our low, $98. Today, you're trading at 110. 4-hour algorithm, it makes you 133% versus 176%. Just got you in at 104. Is this the change? Again, I like this gap up to 141. You guys know, just like watching old men at the pool in the summer in their swim trunks, when they open their legs, you get gap shots. This is a gap shot right there. You can't look away. You can't look away. You're seeing dangling testicles. That's what you see. Now, we're going to talk about some things here. Let's look at free tools versus paid tools, okay? I want to go over a lot of this. This is FinViz. This is a free tool, okay? For years, like I said at the beginning, I used free tools. Didn't matter that I needed, what exactly I need. I grew my account using free tools. So I am point in case that you can do it free, okay? There's just a difference, and we'll go over the difference. I updated the Savvy Trader portfolios for the paid subs, just so you know. I used here are my notes. Let's look at free tools versus paid tools, because for years I used free tools. I had some things pop up in buying stocks yesterday because I was updating the Savvy Trader portfolios. If you go over to Linktree, there is a Savvy Trader portfolio link down here, right here. Follow all my trades for free. This is the core portfolio. It's free. The other portfolios that I have, they are for paid subscribers. Okay? If you subscribe to my newsletter, you get it for free. But here, this is, and you may say, well, you're giving away the free one. Well, let's just take a look. Again, it's free. Look at 1 year performance against the Qs. Okay? The core portfolio up 23%. The NASDAQ's up 20%. We can look at the max. Okay? This one goes back to July or June of 2023. The core portfolio is up 56%. NASDAQ's up 42%. And you might say, well, what's it doing against SPY? Well, SPY's doing even worse. It's up 37%. And the daily stock core portfolio is up 56%. Again, it's a free tool. So I give this to you for free. It's not a very well-managed portfolio. When I put a company in, I buy 100 shares. It's a $1.12 million portfolio. Okay? But it's up 57%. I've only spent $500,000. Sounds like a lot, but not to me. And it grew to 1.12 million. And I don't trade this one. There's no trading involved. So yesterday, I didn't want to sit and stare at charts all day. And one of the portfolios that I managed for the paid subscribers, I didn't want to look at charts. So I set up an alert in Trendspider, and we'll go over that. But there are two things you want to look for in free tools. Okay, the first is charts. Free for fundamentals. We'll look at the fundamentals first. The first one is charts. The second is fundamentals. And we'll look at some of the fundamentals for free first. It's FinViz. FinViz I go to every day. Even though I pay for tools, I still go to FinViz every day. Okay? The difference between the paid tool of Seeking Alpha and FinViz, time. Okay? I can get everything that I need to look at in FinViz. You can look at this one. This is one of the top gainers, CYN. I can see it doesn't have a PE because they're not making money. I can see all the insider transactions. I can see all the performance month to date. I can see the target price. I can see the 52-week high, 52-week low, where it is. I can see all the shares floated. I can see the cash on hand. I can see the book value. I can see everything that I need to know right here on the screen. I can find news stories. Free. And you can find everything that you need free. Okay? There's nothing. What they don't have, okay? They don't have a quant system. You can't go in here and say, let's see, Apple. We'll just look at Apple, the difference, okay? I can take a look at this and say, oh, it's a D on valuation. This is expensive. It's not growing as much. It's D. I can look at the profitability. I can look at that. There is so much more that you can get from this. I can go to Wall Street and I can say, oh, it's 10% away from its target price. And I can see there's 46 analysts that cover that. There's a lot more information and it's readily available, easy. And I've even gotten AI analysis. Okay? In fact, if you want to chart the PE in a historical fashion, we can go over here and we can look at the valuation and we can just look at PE right here. and we can take out the price, and we can just look at PE, and you can look at it over the last 3 years. Okay, you can track the PE. Can't do that in FinViz. We can go and look at Apple. But again, I had this free tool for years, and I still lived with it, and I still made money. Doesn't mean that you have to pay for the tools. It's about time, and I can save time, and I can get a better insight with the paid tool. But it doesn't mean that you have to pay for it. Okay? Add to that, nobody is giving you an analyst report in FinViz like Seeking Alpha does. Add to that, I have a watch list in Webull. Webull told me yesterday that Boyle, and again, Webull is free. So go over here to the link tree and you can see the 5th one down here, join Webull. Webull alerted me yesterday Boyle was moving up. And I looked at the 4-hour algorithm and said, ooh, there was a buy here at 60. We're at 64 right now. What are you trading in pre-market? Boyle is up 4.6% at 67. Maybe you want to look at that. Again, have we changed to a descending one where maybe we continue up? Maybe. This is natural gas. And I got that alert. Seeking Alpha gave me a bunch of alerts as well. Now you can go and look at the top gainers. Again, you can look at these top gainers and this has nice charts for you. You can also look at new highs, new lows. You can do everything that you need to do in this screener. So again, free tool. For years, for technicals, I used Active Trader Pro. I'm not going to show it on the screen. I barely know how to use it at this point, but I used Active Trader Pro from Fidelity. Okay? I look up Ricky Gutierrez on YouTube. He uses Webull, which is a free one. He uses Webull charts. Plenty of people I know use Thinkorswim. Those tools are free. There is no reason for you to pay for Trendspider. But I'll give you an actual use case for what I use Trendspider for that I couldn't use a free tool for. Okay? Right here. This little alert right here, I manage a portfolio in Savvy Trader, and I do own Tesla as well. So I wanted to know when Tesla touches this 200-day. Okay? I don't want to set a reminder to go in there and look every day to see, does it get down to this? It's down 1%. It's at 346. You're seeing we have no confirmation. The algorithm got you out here at around $400. It actually got you out around $390, looks like. The algorithm makes a great return over 24 months, 166%. Okay? You make 106% if you just bought and held 22 positions over 24 months. Your average win 17%. Listen to the 4-hour algorithm. But managing a portfolio, I want to know when it hits this 200-day because the 200-day will be key to determining for me, am I going to start trimming this and putting the money somewhere else where it can make money? Okay, Tesla was down 3% to yesterday. I told them that I set an alert. The goal is to manage the portfolio. Many times with free tools, I forgot to check. Okay, I forgot to check. I didn't have a reminder. I was on a business trip. I remember specifically, I was on a business trip to Guatemala and I couldn't log in. I didn't have Wi-Fi. And so I couldn't log in to look at it. I lost all the profits on one of my trades. Okay, I didn't set stop losses. It was absolutely a disaster. But I lost all of that. And that's the difference between paid tools. I would have gotten a text. I would have gotten something. I just couldn't log in from Guatemala. That's where the difference comes in, is if you think you can save yourself money by having a paid tool because you're saving time and money because you can set up these alerts, that's the difference. The free tools, I used Active Trader Pro to manage my portfolio for years. It's fully capable of doing everything for you, but you have to watch the charts. I don't want to watch the charts. I was able to manage the portfolio for years. It's not necessary to pay for Trendspider, but between a strategy like the 4-hour algorithm, which you see here for Tesla, the alerts set up to monitor my investments, and saving time by emailing me all my scans every morning, The core portfolio, my own personal portfolio, I can say the 4-hour has you in or out every morning. And versus having to pull up the charts one by one in Active Trader Pro, which would take me 2 hours every morning. Again, you can see how the paid tool versus the free tool, it's worth the money for me. Okay? And you can find FinViz worked fine for me. Seeking Active Trader Pro worked fine for me. I still made money. But for me, being retired, I want to make sure that I have enough time in my day. And again, if it's within your budget, you can buy those paid tools as well. Just remember, everything is here on Linktree. But the free tools, again, FinViz, all of that stuff. Now you can use FinViz to find these top gainers as well. You can see the full list here. New high, new low, most volatile, most active. You can pull up all of these things in FinViz. Okay, all of that. Use FinViz to research everything. But then, you know what? Just go over here. Seeking Alpha, free charts. Let's just look at some of the top stocks. I wrote down the top stocks yesterday after doing a little screener in here. We can look at this, okay? These top stocks, I'm just going to pull them up because, KINS, up 18% year to date. Did you have it over 1 year? It's up 436%. Year to date, it's at up 14%. Another one in the top stock, PSIX. I've brought this one up before. Year to date, it's up 45%. We're 2 months in. Just could have paid for the entire, Seeking Alpha subscription. Another one, that's a top stock Mind. Year to date, it's up 18%. And they tell you, they give you a full list of top stocks by market cap. Okay? The top stock right now in large cap, I'll put the screenshot up. It's Wells Fargo. And let's look at when it went. Again, this one went at $60 on October 11th. It went $60. You're trading at $80. And we can look at year to date. It's up 14%. It's the top stock. Amazon is also one of the top stocks in large cap. I'm sorry, in the S&P 500. Year to date, you're up 6%. Again, free tools, I think there's a place for them. You can make the money. But these paid tools, again, top ETFs, let's just go over them. NUKZ, let's look at it. Year to date, up 25%. This is nuclear. This is just nuclear names. You can see the holdings. It's Oklo, Constellation, Cameco, Centrus, NewScale. Again, it's a top ETF. Just click on top ETFs. Ring. This is gold miners. Year to date, up 24%. I have 21% because it was up 3% yesterday. Okay, top ETFs. Let's look at the third one. GDXJ, I think I have. Yeah, this was the top one yesterday. But it's the same thing. It's gold. Year to date, 21%. So again, free versus paid tools. I think there's just a place for you to have paid tools if it's within your budget. But I had a huge budget. I was 7-8 figures before I retired. And I didn't pay for tools, but I was able to grow it. So don't feel like you have to buy them. Let's talk about this one. Our buddy James Ford, BBAI. It was up huge yesterday. We can look at it. BBAI, year to date, it's up 95%. It's a hold in the quant, though. I mean, has it been a strong buy? It hasn't. So, the quant's not perfect, but you can see it moved from a sell to a hold at $1.62. Where are you trading right now? $8.75. And yet, James Ford here, he analyzes it. Let's see, Big Bear. He analyzes it. He says it's a sell. He says it's a sell. Price at publication, $8.72. You can go and do it. You can read all about it. Again, paid tools versus, free tools. Let's talk about a couple of things from yesterday. McDonald's released their earnings, okay? I'm going to go over this, and Disney factors into this. McDonald's was up huge. McDonald's was up huge. They expanded internationally. You can see the chart right there. You can see 300 is going to be your support. The only place where they didn't expand was the US. And specifically, they said consumers are stretched and price per bill is coming down in the US. We broke through that resistance. I think McDonald's could be a buy here. What does the quant think? Again, paid tools versus free tools. I can go over here and I can see the valuation's still stretched. McDonald's targets 46% operating margin in 2025 with focus on value. Again, you look at it trading at 306. I think within this chart, 300 is a support level. How did I get that support level? Let's just go back. Look at it. Resistance in 2023, resistance in 2024. Broke right through it. Didn't use it as support, but we've broken right. What was it the week before? The high, 297. And your MACD is down low. This is a weekly. Your RSI is at 62. And you've moved the candle up there. If you get to above 317, it's takeoff time. But, again, you look at Disney from last week. Disney's worried about the consumer. The cost of Disney vacations is out of reach for the average family. And they've raised prices. Inflation is still in this economy, even at McDonald's, even at Disney. Okay? One that McDonald's led me to, if we just go, I'm going to close this one actually. We're going to go look at McDonald's. I said, you know what? Let's look at McDonald's. And it says 14 out of 42. Okay? I didn't necessarily want McDonald's. I was looking at a different stock. Where did I see this? Restaurants. And I said, you know, eat. We've seen this one rise. I think this one might be a short squeeze. It's pulled back from 192 down to 167. I still think this one's a great buy at 167. The quant thinks it's a strong buy. It's been a strong buy for quite a while. This is one of the top stocks. But the McDonald's research that I was doing led me to actually Burger King. Okay, QSR, restaurant brands. And we can see the quant has it as a hold. Burger King's an interesting play, and we can bring it up here. Notice how McDonald's on the weekly, it's above the 200-day. You know, 50-day is kind of fluttering around. The 21's turning positive. The 9 is positive. We can go and look at QSR, which is Burger King. They report on Thursday. And look at that one, okay? The 4-hour algorithm makes you 29% on this versus losing 1.5% over the last 24 months. 25 positions. Very simple. Your average wins 7%. Earnings are coming up on February 11th, which is today, or I think it's tomorrow pre-market. It's tomorrow pre-market. This one will be interesting with McDonald's earnings the way that they were. And you can see, what does Wall Street think that it's worth? $78. Mic drop. I'd be looking at that one. If restaurants were my thing, I'd be looking at that one. Let's look at some earnings from the core portfolio. Shopify. This one went crazy. I will, full disclosure, Shopify sees sales, operating income, and free cash flow sale higher in Q4. The guidance, they didn't like it. It was down 10%. I'm going to show you. Right now, this is in a turnaround. The market's not open yet, but I'm going to show you a 5-minute chart of this one, okay? This is how much, when the call started, look at that. So this is the 7 o'clock candle. The high was 124. It opened at 123. The low, 106. You could have gotten this at 106. Once it gained confirmation here, okay, this candle at 755, the low was 112. The high was 118. If you bought it at 118, you're at 121 right now. It's up 1.53%. We can take a look at the 4-hour algorithm. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 63%. Okay, 23 positions. You win 52% of the time. But buy and hold on this one makes you 145%. I've been pounding the table on this one. When you look at a weekly chart on this, okay, take a look at this. These are the two lines that I drew. I said once we broke this red line, you can use this green line as your support level. Now, once you broke above that 200-day, I think you get to this 176. You can read all about the earnings. We can go and look at Shopify. It's a hold in the quant. The only reason is the valuation. And Wall Street says it's worth 122. Well, it's trading there. That's going to go up with these earnings. They're going to chase it up with these earnings. Look at the old price targets, 170. You're going back there. Again, it's just a brand that's really good. You want to know another brand? Coca-Cola. I've been saying Coca-Cola for years now. I mean, I've been doing this podcast for 5 years. I have held Coke for 5 years. And I've said every time it gets close to 70, you sell it. You sell it. I've said that for 3 years now. Here, 66. This goes back to 2022. It's a clear channel. 60 is where you buy it under. Okay, we had support right here in January 13th. You're just crossing up. Could you reach the 72 again? Absolutely you can. This is a stock that you trim at 70 and you buy more at 60 until you don't. But 3 years on a weekly, strategies matter. Find a strategy. Find a stock like this. This is fantastic to pull 5-6% in a couple of months. You know, even in a month. And it's Coke. It ain't going anywhere. They smashed organic sales expectations, lapping Pepsi. Pepsi is just in the dumpster. Okay, Coke is the one winning. I have both of these, but I own significantly more Coke because I play them against each other. And you can see Coke is doing better than Pepsi. We can go and chart these two. Again, free tools versus paid tools. Let's select symbols. Let's just look at Pepsi. Okay, now neither one of these are beating the S&P 500. We'll keep the S&P 500 in there, and we'll select metrics. We're gonna do let's see, performance. We're not gonna do price return. We're gonna do total return because they do pay dividends. Okay, over 1 year, the S&P's up 20%. Pepsi is down 12%. 3 years, the S&P's up 34%. Pepsi is down 6%. Coke is up 15%, still not beating the S&P. 5 years, the S&P's up 80%. Coke is up 26 and Pepsi is up 14. Okay? Coke is a clear winner over Pepsi, but neither one of them are beating the S&P. I have them because I drink the drinks. I like Pepsi more than Coke, but I saw the companies just not performing as well. So I made that switch. Now, full disclosure, it is less than probably, I'd say I have less than $100,000 between the two, which is a very, very small position. Okay, but I like Coke. I like it. Super Micro reports tonight. I'm going to read you the quote from this story that's interesting. Over the course of this quarter, the company has engaged a new auditor, BDO, and has indicated it will not have to restate financials. That's the key. Okay, that's the key. We see substantial unknowns heading into SMCI's earnings call tomorrow, which leaves us on the sidelines. This is Webbush. This is Daniel Ives. Adding, we are uncertain around SMCI's near-term performance. Given our lack of certainty around SMCI's listing status as well as near-term results, and with our more optimistic view around longer-term sales opportunities offset by our concerns around increased competition, we believe it's appropriate we retain our neutral rating, Webbush said. Over the last 2 years, SMCI has beaten earnings per share 88% of the time and has beaten revenue 88% of the time. Now, SMCI, I'm not touching. Doesn't fit my strategy. It's up 50%. Okay, we can go and look at it in the 4-hour algorithm. People have been knocking me to try and cover this one. I don't want it until I'm sure that BDO is signing off and they don't have to restate their financials. I mean, look at this weekly chart, okay? You touched the 200-day right there at about 25. Then you bounced off it. Maybe that's a strategy you want. Your MACD, well below the oscillator. The 4-hour algorithm over the past 24 months makes you 399%. Buying and holding makes you 449%. I don't want to touch it. Doesn't mean I don't think that it can make money. I think you absolutely could come up here to the $58 where that intersection happens. Could we get back to that upward movement? Maybe. Maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility. If they kill it today and they announce, maybe people are just going to look past That BDO hasn't even signed off on this crap. SMCI is now up over 60% of tomorrow's highly anticipated earnings. Is it a comeback? Again, this just isn't within my my risk tolerance. I don't want it. It's not. Am I gonna be? I have VOO. They're still in the S&P 500. They're still in there. You've got a few others. You've got Dash. We can go and take a look at the chart on Dash. DoorDash right here. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 107%. Buying and holding makes you 244%. And they have earnings coming up. The algorithm got you in at 171. You're trading at 192. And we can go and look at Dash over here. It is a hold in the quant. The only reason is the valuation. It's the only reason. It's incredibly expensive. But you can't argue with the growth, the profitability, the momentum, and the revisions. You can't. We can take a look at tonight, Lyft. Lyft announced that they're going to do robo-taxi kind of stuff, and they were up 6% yesterday. They're up 2% in the pre-market. The only problem is the growth. That's the only problem. The valuation isn't the problem. It's decently priced. Growth is the problem. What do I like? Uber. Let's go and take a look at Lyft. Let's see what the 4-hour algorithm tells us about Lyft. You're hanging around the 200-day. Let's look at the weekly. The 200-day is up here at 22. You're trading at 15. These guys could blow it out of the water. And if they do, if they have some crazy announcement, you could look at that one. I like Uber. I own Uber. I like that one. Upstart, UPST, has earnings tonight. It's a buy in the quant. Valuation, crazy. They're not making money. Okay, this is a consumer loan company that uses AI to loan out money. $6.47 billion market cap. 52-week range up to $88. Where does Wall Street think it's going to? 62. It's trading at 69. We can look at UPST. I think this one might have been a short squeeze, if I'm not mistaken, that's taken it up. But you can see the 200 days right at 60. It's right at 60. Do we have a gap above? Nah, you're trading at there. We can take a look at a weekly. A weekly chart shows you. We don't even have a 200. Do we have a 200-day? Yes, you do have a 200-day. You're trading right around the 200-day. Again, for a long-term chart, the 200-day is where something like this wants to be. Doesn't mean you can't go back up here. I would draw this line from this previous high right here at 67, and I would say, hey, that's providing us pretty decent resistance and support. With the MACD up 11 points above the oscillator, what happened the last time? It was exactly at this price, and earnings came by. The last time, it went down 44%, down to $30. Does that fit my risk tolerance? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then the upcoming earnings, I'm going to post these. It's Coke, SMCI, Shopify, VRT is coming up on the 12th. Pre-market. TS Taiwan Semi come through the trading desk. Again, this is all, there's a free site called Earnings Hub. You can just go to Earnings Hub and look. We got Hood yet tomorrow. We got Cisco. You got Reddit, Trading Desk, App11, which has just been huge. HubSpot, huge. Dutch Brothers. And tomorrow you got VRT, which I actually own. CVS Health. You've got Dominion Energy. You've got a lot of earnings coming up. I just look at this, on Seeking Alpha. It gives me in the morning the upcoming earnings in the app. Again, for paid members, this is interesting. I basically used, it was Seeking Alpha. I used the tool and I said, hey, there's a stock that is, I found it essentially on Twitter. It's an AI stock specializing in machine learning for robotic systems that Palantir invested in. 25% upside. Again, one analyst covers it, so it's a small cap. It was trading at $2 in December, $3 in January. Today, it's trading for $10. I'll leave you with that little nugget of thing. And then I just want to show you something before I kind of go into Richard Branson and a little thing as well. Again, this is a 51-minute episode. It's a long episode, and the paid members will have something after this as well. But GameStop surged over 10% after Ryan Cohen posted a photo with MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. This article goes into why it might be good. Again, it might be Bitcoin. I'll leave you with this. There's a photo that I'm going to post, and I didn't know who the person that actually posted it was. It's one of the financial influencers. And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's good. But I think it's a grifter a little bit. I'm not a follower of his. I'm not a fan. It just showed up in my Facebook feed. But I think it's interesting. And essentially, here's the quote that he wrote. Richard Branson taught me that if you're not willing to lose $100 million, you won't make $1 billion. And now just cut zeros off of that, because nobody that's listening to this podcast, I hope if you become a billionaire, you better share, a couple $10 million with me. But I would expect that to my Venmo at any point. But again, this speaks to risk tolerance, because you can take that business sense of Richard Branson and do stocks. The quote, the Facebook goes on. The post goes on. A couple of years ago, I spent a week with billionaire Richard Branson, and I learned one thing. Again, I think he's flexing. The dude has his shirt off playing tennis with Branson here. While I was with him, one of his companies, Virgin Orbit, filed for bankruptcy. Here's a guy who had built a global empire, yet even with decades of experience, he still had businesses fail. And that's when I realized that no matter how successful you become, failure is always part of the game. It will always be part of your trading experience. You will lose. There's nobody who wins 100% of the time. The algorithm doesn't win 100% of the time. There is no quant that will win 100% of the time. There's a saying in business that if you're not willing to lose 100 million, you'll never make $1 billion. It's about understanding the risk and making bets that have potential to pay off massively, but also about accepting that not everything will work out. Richard wasn't dwelling on the loss of Virgin Orbit. He was already focused on what's next. It's a good reminder that no matter where you are in your journey in life, just know that everyone fails, and often the best that fail the most often. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is how they respond. Learn from your losses, so when you win, win big. And that's investing. That's it. I mean, it's a great, great quote. So I'm going to end it here, but I'm going to do additional for the paid subs. You'll get a look at the 4-hour algorithm. You'll get a look at seeking alpha with this particular stop, and 10 small cap stocks that you can investigate if they're within your hot zone, because these are from a Substack that I follow, and 10 small cap stocks that they just posted that are their top look at stocks. And you guys do the research. I'm going to give that to the paid subs. Okay. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye. And with that, I am going to go record the rest of the podcast with this look at the stock. So we're going to open up iMovie. And I thought that was a good look at the tools. Again, and I mentioned it a lot. I used free tools for years, and they never inhibited me. They never stopped me from making money. I just think that the paid tools allowed me to enhance it, save time, and it definitely saves me money now, because I don't have to sit there and look at charts. And I can sit and set up a freaking alert. I mean, those alerts are just, and the back testing, it's so good. And we'll put that one in there. Okay. Wah, wah. Okay. And we're going to do that one. Next. 211 pod free. Boom. Ed, go to the contact us in the bottom right. There. Ask them. Ed, honest to God, I don't use it. I know that you can do what's happening now. And you can go down here. There's a Pelosi tracker, but there's a way to put it on your screen as well. But go and ask them. That's a them question, because I don't use it. I don't have it on any of my workspaces. But I know it's there. I know they'll get back to you within a heartbeat. So it's significantly better. Just to ask them. Okay, there are 41 people in here, 30 thumbs up. And my apologies, Ed. I would give it to you if I knew it, but it's just significantly, rather than me take time and go and do it, they're going to give you a link. They're going to, I would Google Pelosi tracker and Trendspider. I think Google is far better. It's the G that keeps on giving. Gary is very knowledgeable and giving, but this thing called Google is the other G, the big G. I think he's better than I am, to be honest with you. And I am gonna go. Let me just do a portfolio check. I'm not gonna go live on Substack and record it. I am going to Penny, my little buddy. I gotta text a picture of Penny. God, I hate Stripe. By the way, if you're a paid subscriber, don't contest the damn payment. That's the douchiest effing thing. Write to me. And I'll tell you why. Stripe is great in that, hey, I'm happy to have a way to make money on paid newsletter. But every time somebody contests a payment, and they deny the payment for some reason, and I've never gotten an answer from anybody who's denied the payment. I don't know why they deny it, but Stripe charges me $30. Okay, so first off, I think I charge $190 for the year or $40 for the month on the paid newsletter. So it's expensive, but the reality of the situation, there's some people who are paying like $20 a year because they were there for a while ago. So for that person who's paying $20 a year and then gets a renewal, and then Stripe charges me $30. So not only have I gotten the Apple percentage, 30% taken out, not only have I gotten the Substack 10% taken out, not only have I gotten the Stripe 15% taken out, now I get a $30 charge. I wind up losing money on that newsletter on somebody like that. So don't be a douche. Understand, it's a small business. I can afford to lose $30, but Joanna, it depends on your view of Tesla. And it depends on your view of Tesla. I would play the 4-hour algorithm. I own this one outright, but it's in my Webull account. And honest to God, the Webull account right now is at $11,200. And it's made up, the number one holding by far is iBit, which is like, I think that's $5,000 of that $11,000 is iBit. $2,000 of that is NVIDIA. $1,200 of that is Spotfiy. $800 of that is Apple. $300 of that is Google. And Tesla is $450 worth of that. MicroStrategy, by the way, is MSTX is $1,500 worth of that. I think it was $1,500. Now it's $1,200. Just so you know, MSTX, it's a nightmare. But it is what it is. And that's the only way I own Tesla. So the way I actually own Tesla, I mean, you can look at the weekly. We have lost, that is a resistance level, and I thought 350. Well, let's look. See that MACD? See how it's so high? I mean, that MACD is following the price. You hit a high here of 488, and you haven't seen it since. I mean, it's just trading badly. The RSI is at 52. What's happened the last time it hit 52? It took off. 50 has been a support level since July of last year on this one. I don't know that there's good news in this one, but if your view on Tesla is that it's a robotics company with AI, then it's a buy the dip. The valuation, shouldn't even bother you. If you think it's a car company, the valuation absolutely should concern you. The Chinese are just killing them. I have my Tesla in XLY. XLY, we can go over here to Seeking Alpha and you can look at XLY. I think it's 16% of XLY. Yeah, 16% of XLY. You could also buy ARKK, which Tesla is 11% of. So, you know, we can look at charting of select symbols and we'll do XLY. And you can see over the last year, ARKK is up 22%, the S&P is up 20%, XLY is up 25%. You can see over 3 years, ARKK is down 13%, the S&P is up 34%, XLY is up 21%. So XLY is underperforming that blue line, which is the S&P. So is Tesla a buy the dip? It's up to you. For me, I think this one, I learned my lesson on this, and it's a buy and hold for me, but in very, very small quantities. But if I were actually trading this one, I would use this 4-hour algorithm because you can see down here at the bottom, the performance 166% versus 106%. This 4-hour algorithm over its history has just outperformed buy and hold. It has done really, really well. And it doesn't win. It wins 45% of the time over the last 24 months. So it doesn't win the largest majority of the time, but its average win is 17%. You're coming towards the 200-day, and I went over this. I think if you hit that 200-day, I have an alert set up. You can see it right here on the right. Tesla alert. Well, you can't see it. It's behind my head, but I have an alert set up, whereas if it touches this 200-day, I'm worried, and I will decide, do I want to add more to the $500 position? And it's not going to be big, because my lesson before was, hey, I got rid of this one pretty damn quickly. Okay, with that, I am out of here. I'm going to do the countdown show exit. Thank you guys, and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. and fears.